is it an advantage for you that you've got two, we'll use the word veterans, who have been through this, who actually, you know, remember the classic metal, and then you've got, you know, two guys from a new generation? Does that lend itself to the music sounding fresh? Because, you know, it isn't, you know, we'll say it, it isn't four old guys getting back together to rehash old glories. Yeah. It's two guys who understand what it should be, and two younger guys that can add a freshness to it. You know, how much do you teach them? How much do they teach you?
Well, you've got to remember that Kenny and I never stopped playing. And always remained very active in metal music throughout the 90s, which were really a great wasteland for what we do. But there's no denying that Brendan, who is our new bass player, and Billy, Brendan Kelleher, and Billy Smith have, you know, been a tremendous asset to the band. No, they're a tremendous asset in that they have that hunger, that driven desire to create Sacred Oath music, in that just post-adolescent sort of energy, which is what metal is really all about. So they make a massive contribution to the band, and we're grateful for it.
Now here's a question for Kenny, and I'm wondering, you know, if I were in your shoes, would I be worried just because, you know, Rob also, in addition to singing for Sacred Oath, actually is a music teacher, is an instructor, and Billy happens to be one of his students. Brendan happens to be one of his students. Are you worried that at some point some 19-year-old buck is going to come in that happens to be one of Rob's students?
We might need to have a bunk for him on the tour bus. No, not at all. Not at all. We've been playing together for a long time. It's like you said before, it's all very natural to us what we do. So I've been looking forward to this degree of success for quite some time now, and we're going to ride it out. It's going to be fun in the future.
Kenny and I go way back. I mean, we've been playing together since we were 14 years old.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, Kenny's my oldest friend, and that has a lot to do with the sound that is Sacred Oath. I mean, it really is
Very
the
much
sound
so,
that is
yeah.
Sacred Oath, and whatever success that the new album has is really deeply rooted in that synergy that we have together. I mean, Kenny can tell you that there were really no rehearsals going into this new album.
It was very natural.
It was Kenny, come on in, let's get started. We know what we're going to do. Here's the structure. Boom, bang it out. And that comes with
that makes it sound fresh
years.
too. Not contrived, not too thought out, not too.
Well, yeah, it's the spontaneity.
It's the spontaneity, which is important.
At what point, you know, from your perspective, because, you know, you're coming in, you're hearing this material, you're recording it, at what perspective do you know, yeah, we got something here,
as soon as I heard his demo roughs, I was like, this is going to be an excellent record.
How much are you able to separate the fact that, like you said, you guys have known each other since, what did you say, 14 years old? Are you able to separate the fact that I love this guy, I love what he does, I love his creativity, and the fact that, you know, you're listening to it and thinking, you know, more objectively? Does that come into play, or is it just that?
I try not to separate it because we want the new stuff to at least relate to the old stuff in some fashion. So I try to make it more of the same, or to build on what we've already accomplished. So I try not to separate it too much.
Yeah, I mean, why would anything that we do as a band ever need to be objective? Really?
Yep.
I mean, we're a voice in a sea of a million voices, and our voice needs to remain unique. And so the one thing that we can really hang on to is the history that we have, and to just pour ourselves into that relationship that we have and how we make music. You know, that's what makes us unique.
Build off of that foundation that already exists.
Is there an unspoken criteria for material that is kind of like, there's the light switch that we know, yep, that's it, you know?
Well, Kenny's got one.
Pretty much, yeah.
What's the criteria?
It's gotta be metal.
It's gotta be metal. It starts with Rob's riffs. As soon as, like I said before, as soon as I got the demos from Rob, I knew how he wanted me to play them. And it's all built from the same formula that we've been playing since 84, 85, 86. It's the same styles that we've been drawing off of for a long time. And I think most of our fans appreciate the fact that we're not going to go way too far out in left field. We're going to maintain a degree of recognizability. When you hear us, you're going to know it's the same band as it was 15, 20 years ago.
There's a Sacred Oath sound. There's no doubt about it. You know, not that it's very narrow, but there is a Sacred Oath world of sound, and we know what's right for it and what's not.
That having been said, when you went to work on this new material, and you've got somebody like Billy coming in, who obviously wasn't part of the original Sacred Oath sound, is that something that you made yourself aware of that coming in, or was it just a case of, you know, they chose me for a reason to be in this band, and I'm just going to rely on my instincts and contribute, you know, what comes naturally?
Well, I was just like, I mean, I know obviously I've come from a lot of different tastes as these guys have, and I just, you may say I was kind of faking it, but I was trying to go for it, and hopefully it works, and hopefully people like what I do. It's just obviously
you fell into it naturally. You really did.
Yeah, well, you got to remember that
you taught him everything he knows.
That by the time Billy was 14 years old, I was like, now here's a band called Merciful Fate. And check these guys out, and if you like it, I'll teach you some of their songs.
Very subversive, isn't he?
Actually, in our first practice, he taught me Disposable Heroes by Metallica. So once I first heard that, I was like, oh man, I'm in over my head. How am I going to learn Metallica? So once I got that down, got the metal picking down, I was like, okay, maybe I got something here, and figured, let's go for it.
Now, how about Brendan? What is Brendan so far bringing to the equation?
Well, Brendan I can answer that. I mean, Brendan as a bass player has, you know, he's got a very guitar-oriented approach towards bass playing, in that he wants to be tight with the guitars, with the drums, and just make it as powerful as he can. And his energy and his execution are just impeccable. So live, I think fans are going to, the Oath Bangers are going to be in for a real treat to see the Oath with Brendan on board his bass.
Nice. Okay. Well, the new album is called Sacred Oath. Right now, it's actually available on iTunes for a bargain basement price, if we're allowed to say that. But it's there. Check it out. And the album actually comes out in a physical, tangible form on
July 14th.
July 14th.
Okay, but you can catch it now on iTunes. Sacred Oath is the band. Sacred Oath is the album. Do yourself a favor. It's worth the time.
Metal.